Hello, and welcome to day 3 of the 7-day challenge for optimizing your event business. Today, we have a hot topic for you. We're going to be talking about pricing. Now, if you've missed any of our previous videos, make sure you check us out on YouTube and join our Facebook group. If you want to make sure you stay clued in on all the rest of the videos that we're going to be sharing, we're bringing professionals to you this week. So join us at 6 p.m. on our Facebook group live where you can ask questions. We are bringing to you the 7-day challenge because, like many of you in the event business, we've been impacted by the coronavirus. But it's something that we are going to get through together. We are ready for all the many celebrations that are going to happen after we get through this, and we want to be ready for it. If you have been in the event industry for any amount of time, you know that pricing can be tricky and at sometimes scary. It's good to know what your competitors are doing, but also you need to know how the numbers play out for you to make sure that you're making a profit. That's why we put together a worksheet for you to make sure that you can do some work to kind of understand what your pricing is, what are all the things you need to consider to figure out what your profit is going to be. Now, once you complete that worksheet, we do want you to consult with a professional, could be a trusted friend or someone you know in the industry, to help give you some additional guidance. That's what we've done, and we want to share with you just a little bit about how we've done the pricing. Every business is different, every business model, pricing model is different, but we're just going to share with you a little bit of insight on how we've done the things.
Yeah, thanks, Iris. So our offer is slightly different than your offers. I mean, actually, everyone's offer is completely unique and has its own elements to it. But what we're offering is a subscription service to our website. So this may be new to you guys because this is something that as we're launching, we are still rolling out. But before we even got to that point, what Iris and I did when we had this idea for Festively, when we thought about, wouldn't it be great to have a place online where you can connect with and find wonderful event vendors and also things that, your neighbors might have and all the things you may need to bring together for a party, bring it all online. That sounds great. How do you actually make money from that? What does it cost to go into that? And is that something that's a feasible business model? So what we had to do was similar to the worksheet that we talked about. We actually looked at the bigger picture first. So we looked at our overall cost to bring this to market, and then brought that down to a more granular yearly cost, monthly cost, so that we can get a better picture of what it would be to bring this to light. So for us, the hidden costs of having a software company or doing something like this are actually developing the site. So working with developers on a custom site, the maintenance, the bug fixes, all the elements. So I'll give you an example. Did you know that when you receive a text message from a business and that says, hey, your dentist appointment is on Wednesday, or hey, your food is on the way, those are actually like two different services. There's like a mapping service, and then there's a texting service. And even though you have a site for us, for example, there's like 10 different pieces of software that go into it that we pay a monthly subscription fee for. So that's just giving you an insight into our operations. Even though we don't have a brick and mortar, we have regular expenses that we have to pay. And so looking at all of those and then thinking about what is it that we actually want to make, what would it be, what would our cost or service fee be, and what's our total like revenue goal. And it's important to do that because it's like a reality check. What's the reality of us actually doing this? How much will this be? Is this a feasible business model? And then also, is there anything we can cut? Do we have any subscriptions that maybe we don't really need? We were thinking about cutting Zoom, but I'm glad we didn't because we actually
use it quite a bit.
We really do. We really do, more than ever now. But anyhow, so, it makes sense for everybody to kind of clean house a little bit, especially during these times, and look at are these our true costs. And then from there, we go into any specific offer. So that was our challenge. What are we going to charge for what we're trying to do? So we look at things, and in our worksheet, we go more of like a traditional event service, or looking at what it costs for supplies and labor and things like that. So we look at it slightly differently, but we're trying to look at it with the perspective of, if this is our revenue goal at the end of the day, how many of these do we need to sell in order for it to actually work, and at what price point? And so we built a couple of different models and looked at it from that perspective of, this would be, if we offered this number of features, this would be a good price point. And if we offered this amount of features and, a couple of different options there, then of course we looked out to the market and said, who else is doing this and how do we compare? So we're kind of a unique product. There's not a lot of services. There's services that aggregate event vendors, and we're not going to tell you who those competitors are. No, I'm just kidding. Competition is good. No, it actually is really good. So there's tools like Honeybook, which allow you to book vendors. There's Gig Masters that allow you to book vendors as well. No one really that's allowing you to aggregate rentals, which is an area that we are really excited about. But anyhow, but they don't give customers the ability to choose between multiple vendors. It's mainly for the vendor to optimize their back end stuff. So what we did was looked at the competitive landscape and said, okay, well, how much is Honeybook charging? How much is so-and-so charging? And that was really helpful for us to just get a gauge. Are we in the right ballpark? It doesn't mean we have to have the exact price. Just because we're new doesn't mean we have to have a lower price. It just helps us to benchmark. And so that's why in our note today, we're saying, competition is actually a good thing, because otherwise you're kind of out there floating and not really knowing whether or not you're on the right track. And then from there, we'd looked at, okay, so if this is our price point, truly how many of these would we need to sell to meet our goal? Is that realistic? And that doesn't mean that we have to sell all of those today, like right out the gate. We actually have a yearly plan where we hope to ramp up and expand and make our ultimate, our goal in the next 5 years. So we actually did all of that before we even agreed to go into business together. And we actually got the advice of a CPA. We talked to friends and family. We put ourselves out there to be a little bit more vulnerable because it was so important to us. It was going to be a huge investment. It already has been an investment of time, money. We absolutely love doing it. So that's, the wonderful thing about it. But we really had to take that broader view and look at what we're trying to do and then break it down into reality and see, is this something that we can actually take to market?
So again, pricing is very important, but one thing to note, a lot of people that are going to be coming on the heels of the coronavirus, they're going to be ready to have celebrations, but the revenue may not be the same as it was before going into the situation. And so you may want to build into your pricing plan some discounts and some other ways for you to give back to these families and to your community who want to plan a celebration but may not have all the revenue that they have at the moment, or the revenue that they need at the moment. So as we said, do the work, complete the worksheet, consult with a professional, and to make sure you join us tonight at 6 p.m. We're going to have Leslie Hicks. She's from Inglewood, and the name of her company is Majestic Inglewood. She'll be walking us through pricing, how she works with her inventory. You'll be able to ask live questions. You don't want to miss it. So 6 o'clock on our Facebook group, and then make sure you watch us on our YouTube channel for any previous videos that you've missed.
Yes, and just real quick, Majestic Inglewood Party Rentals. So in case you're wondering what type of business she's in, but yeah, she'll be wonderful. So see you then.